about Mother Nature, which I can't stand, about hypnosis being extraterrestrial force, gravity, beings out there, and he, by dint of his powers, about New Age bullshit. There's a hypnotist would attract these powers onto him and radiate it on subjects like this kind of stuff that we hear from New Age people, like this kind of some statements against Mother Nature, which I can't stand, like this kind of New Age bullshit. But he wants me to be sober, and I just couldn't take it, and I dismissed him.
Before a girl thrown from a horse, suspended in midair, your directorial debut. Before the Augustinian moment with the earthquake, before that head rolled off, and kept counting in a gare, and you were in love. Before Timothy Treadwell screamed obscenities at the sky, and you knew it was no accident. Before some half-drunk night, when art films you didn't want to watch managed to summit your Netflix queue. Before, sitting on a toilet, you read an interview with Aronofsky about the fountain, and he said the name. Can you describe the accident that occurred on the final day of shooting? That was not an accident, that was just something that went a little bit out of hand. Further prehistory, German class, senior year, some sort of baffling raffle or game for the purpose of clearing off Frauenfelder's basement shelves. My prize, a VHS tape of Nosferatu. My friend Matt, who always knew more about everything than me, was jealous. He might have even said the name, or maybe it was Kinski. One way or another, there it was on the cover. Ein Film von Werner Herzog. Somehow I knew the name even though I'd never heard it, like something in the collective unconscious. A recurrent dream in which one of the characters knows something that you, the dreamer, don't. A battle cry, snarl of a name. Awakening a dormant brother. I watched the vampire film, found it pretty boring, and was too much of a high schooler to give it any more thought.
You could experience and see this film under hypnosis. If you followed my voice now, and if you looked at an object there and holding up, and if you focus on that, I could hypnotize you. You would be hypnotized, but so deep that you would keep your eyes open. Forget about logic and forget about any academic sort of school had in your life. Be the echo.
Now to lift the chair he's sitting in, the young Vish, assembling scaffold by himself at dawn, an impossible puzzle, standards just wider than a wingspan. Even if they weren't, what third hand would affix the ledgers? Two steel poles that spin around a central axis, achieving the highest simplicity to unwieldiness ratio of any object ever conceived. Good foundations are essential and impossible on this mole-rutted prairie with 2 of 4 base plates errant. Scraps of wood serve as sole boards, but each level raised will amplify imperfections, seemingly solid shown to be listing and hazardous. Somehow one section stands, but the Vish lugged only enough materials to gauge the futility of the effort. Now back 200 yards to where the pieces rust in a pile of tetanus. 2 standards at a time, but oh God, just barely. With 2 stops to re-shoulder the yoke, a bundle of ledgers, a bucket of couplers and pins, the plastic handle shatters, pep talks himself into 2 more standards, now the rented pick, the $20 it represents. Even though the heating bill would hit $150 some months, that still doesn't explain where the money went. He tries to blame himself. That's the kind of Vish he is. Drinking every night, the speeding ticket, the hospital bill after he tore his hamstring, but none of these really solve the case of the vanishing 15 grand. Life just does this. A Vish tries something a little bold, and life says unacceptable. It funnels you into an occupation to survive, just to survive. The last ledgers, the last couplers and pins, the final standards, the pieces piled and waiting, and his joints suggest utter defeat. But there hovers the image of the perfect mirage, built up from beneath, and the Vish realizes he should have set up a camera there to memorialize his labor, time-lapse, and that behind the scenes is the real scene. And why would scaffolding erect itself in the middle of a marshy prairie? Second section done, he starts on the third. Why would angles and steel intrude on autumn? Sectioning sky and tree line, it's geometric exercise. So you didn't even have production insurance in case there was an accident? Money always has two qualities. It is stupid and it is cowardly. Third section done, I start on the fourth and final. For elevation, for production value, for vantage over the prairie that none will notice when the horse enters at the bottom of the frame. Fourth section done, picked in place for simulated topography. There's a breeze up here. He imagines his eye, a camera iris.
I think it's stupid and cowardly. Of those who don't dare to have any imagination or reflect any voice. The level of the water has went down abruptly, and now we used, you see there was water up there and there were floods, and we used it as we found it, and we cope with it.
The week before, his horse fell through. The young Vish. His horse fell through the week before, by phone, by email, he can't recall. No horse, no finale, no film. No horse, no Western flair for Midwestern farm film of indistinct accented era. Some tell that horse-having friend's wife was willing to transport horse for sake of short horror film. But beg, borrow, steal when offered, and how can you get very mad at horse-having friend when you're not paying any money? No horse, no film, and harder than handling a horse is the ease of not doing so. It seems to me the actor could have just walked into the field. I do not have explanations like people would give in a class of screenwriting or so. Enter the true horror film, taking initiative, finding horse source, asking horse order, forking funds, even with a horse branch neighboring the farm barn where he sleeps, even with sign visible driving by, an inviting phone number, even with up well before dawn, bi-weekly meditation of unhealthy breakfast, even with a phone call return, an unknown number the young Vish knows must be the horse hoarders. Why is it so difficult to answer a call he wants to receive to offer them money for the goods they provide? But something happens with me and money. No, not the usual next round's on me, free will story of dissipation. The more money I have, the more neurotic I get. The more I have physiological reactions to the dwindling numbers. So I somehow lose the money while being anxious and careful and not having any fun. My monthly cost did not seem significant I moved into the barn for the paltry rent of $250 a month. The money I made working at the rabbit sanctuary should have paid for that. $50 for the first health insurance I'd ever paid for in my life. Just catastrophic coverage. $20 for internet. Elliot, who lived on the second floor of the farmhouse, installed a router, and the signal amazingly made it all the way over the rutted driveway back to the barn. I saw it a matter of internet before I had heat or water. But heat was a variable I didn't anticipate. Sure, I fixed the old furnace, so I probably would not die of carbon monoxide poisoning, but the cost of making that drafty old barn habitable was significant. Even though my room hovered at 60 degrees, the kitchen and bathroom more like 45, the stairway that connected them perpetually below freezing. I kept a container in my room to piss in at night so I wouldn't have to walk down those stairs. Sleep pissed in Bandit's litter box once, I'm pretty sure. Enter a young Vish, 27, lugging a boom pole made from a crutch. But examine his original screenplay, please, and point to the place. Enter tiny young innocent girl, 12, on terrifying horse. The show is so all-consuming, who has eyes enough for the sideshow? Cut, cut, cut. Landlord's daughters do not go on horses. I don't care if the horse trainer put her there. I don't care if her father is watching. Until that moment, something wrong. Indistinct danger like the first whiff of melting plastic. The instant the young Vish realized that this day would be different than all the others. Split-second humdrum, comfort collapsing into atavistic alertness. Scanned scaffolding, scanned prairie, pulse impossibly quickens. See, auxiliary horse, stumbled across the route home, could remember previous gallops down this path, could smell awaiting hay, and never mind this featherweight clinging to my neck. It's but a bird. Leaning forward, clutching tighter, horse language for gallop faster. Why was it even necessary to have a horse in your film? I do not exactly know what it is, and everything I would say would sound pretentious. We have to be careful. It's an area which I do not like to discuss. The horse trainer holds up a hand, halting the humans, using the same type of body language that controls dumb animals. We would only frighten the horse. We can only wait. We can only listen to her screams. The girl falls off. The girl separates from horse. And there is a moment when she is not on horse and not on land. The girl falls off, is in air, is awaiting the result of impact as we wait.
your mother with this knife.
This is how disasters happen. This is how lives are ruined. Young Vish. What thoughts occupy his mind? The girl's safety, of course. He's vicious but not a monster, but his thoughts don't stop or even start there. His film is over. The shooting day shot. His nascent filmmaking dreams stunted. The question of litigation suddenly raised. I understand that after the girl fell off the horse, you continued with your shooting schedule. Sometimes as a director, you've got to be vile, and you have to use the weird tricks to trigger something like that. By a signature. The signature flourished with the unthinking brazenness of young filmmaking. A signature clearing the horse trainer, at this point, the questionable title, from liability. Once she hit the ground, they were off, pounding through the prairie, hoping to see movement of every limb, any limb. The horse trainer galloped off to receive auxiliary, by now repentant, having perceived some misstep. Did you feel remorse? Things never got out of hand, that is plainly the truth. Accidents that happened were never recklessly created. They happened as they happened. The landlord picked up his daughter, comforting her away from these awful people and their movie. Prodded carts in search of winces. She's okay, the landlord told me. I swear he thought he said, you're okay.
I've never looked out for dangers. I've never been adventurous. I hate the concept of adventurous. I think it has become totally absurd and ridiculous from the moment when people try to find the North or South Pole to reach it for the first time. That was not the concept, the great concept, the medieval concept of something on a quest and going out into the unknown. Forbidding world, which is broken. I'm not afraid. I'm not who is scared. I hate the concept of some deep quest from the moment when people try to wrestle film images and visions, and sometimes, if necessary, I have to find the North or South Pole to reach it for the first time. And sometimes, if necessary, I have to purchase an adventure trip to New Guinea, to the headhunters, and just go for it. I'm not afraid, and I think it has become totally absurd and ridiculous. I'm not one of those who would be scared. I'm not an adventurer. I'm not seeking danger. I'm not afraid. I'm not one of those who would be scared.